a lot, and the we is literally hundreds, maybe thousands of people that have been part of this little experiment that we've been putting together in Lawrence over the last 8 or 9 years. And, you know, as Claire said, we have been experimenting. And I was happy to hear that word this morning. Happy to hear the talk about space this morning. Because I think part of the story of our work in Lawrence is really trying to find, in a very busy and complicated world and a very kind of busy and packed community philanthropy kind of metric, finding the space to do real relationship building based work. And I want to kind of keep circling back to that, but I think my job today is to tell you a little bit of that story. And the way I want to do it is not spend a lot of time on the who did what stuff, but really walk you through some of the lessons and reflections and practice elements that kind of emerged over time. And I have to say that, you know, I'm going to talk about it in a way that's more linear than it was, clearer than it was, probably less complicated than it was. And so please keep that in mind. This is messy stuff. It was messy for us. We haven't nailed it by any stretch of the imagination. I would say this for us is that we have been incredibly intentional, and we'll take credit for that. The rest of it, who knows? So the story here in Lawrence is tough city, poor city, post-industrial city. You know the drill. White flight, white power structure holding on to power very tightly, Latinos moving in great numbers, total demographic shift. Over time, a depleted civic environment, right? Not a lot of function happening in the city. Very poor city, no mission for the city, no vision, no long-term vision for the city. Small game kind of city. We come in 1999, looking around, having an opportunity to put something together on the ground. I've spent 20 years or so doing community organizing, community building. Not real happy about what we had accomplished or the way we were doing things, not really knowing what the alternative was, but not happy with that, looking for different ways to do it. Looking at Lawrence and seeing two big problems. One big problem is we don't have people saying yes to really much of anything when it comes to civic engagement or changing this place. People saying no thousands of times a day. Thousands of people saying no thousands of times a day, when what you need are thousands of people saying yes 1,000 times a day. The problem is we can't run this place, right? The problem is we also can't generate an economic engine for this place. It's not rudderless, it's empty in terms of capacity and energy. And so one of the key lessons we learned, I think, early on and started to reflect on is that we need to change the environment. It's not about a CDC creating programs, doing projects and so on. We can do that. We have to change the environment. We have to flip the environment from something that's hostile, soul-killing, unproductive, boring, really an environment that's really bad for human beings, right, into something that's really good for human beings. Because if it's really good for human beings will flow into that environment and start saying yes.